Good morning, year one, and welcome to today's writing lesson. Today it is Friday the 29th of January 2021, and happy Friday to you all. We have made it to the end of another week. There's just one more day of home learning and then it is the weekend. I just wanted to start today's writing lesson by saying how proud I am of all of you for working really hard. All of this work that you are doing at home that I've asked you to do on these videos, or that your families have printed off for you, are all things that we would be doing at school. So you're working really hard, so keep trying your best and proving to your families how well you can work, because we know that you can definitely do it. So keep up the good work, year one. Well done. Now I want you to have a think. What story have we been learning about this week? Can you remember what the name of the story is? That's right, it's The Gingerbread Man. Now, not only have we learnt the story, you have planned your own version of the story. You have innovated The Gingerbread Man to make it your own version, which is fantastic. You chose your own characters and you decided who the gingerbread man would meet on his journey from the oven to the river. Okay, you decided who he would meet. And then you wrote the story as well, which is fantastic. So well done, year one. You have worked so hard this week. Now today we're still going to be learning about the gingerbread man, but we're going to look at something a little bit different. Now I'm going to show you something and I want to see if you can remember what it is called. Now on my piece of paper here I've got the gingerbread man, and I've also got something else on my piece of paper. This thing here. Do you know what this is called? Can you remember? That's right, it's called a speech bubble. But why do we use a speech bubble? What is a speech bubble used for? Have a think. Why might we use a speech bubble? Okay, so we would use a speech bubble to tell somebody that a character or a person is talking, okay, or what we think they might say, okay. Now we can see from this speech bubble here that the direction from which it is coming from, who is it coming from? That's right, it's coming from the gingerbread man, okay? So when we read what's inside this speech bubble, who is it that's talking? Is it me that's talking if I've written it? Remember, think about who it's coming from. Is it you talking if you've written it? Who do we imagine is talking when we see the speech in this speech bubble? Think about who it is coming from. That's right, the gingerbread man, okay? We can see that this speech bubble is coming from the gingerbread man, so it's going to be something that he is saying or something that he would say, okay? Now let's have a look at this example here. We have got, who's this from the story, can you remember? Lovely, well done. This is the little old woman from the story who made the gingerbread man. Now have a look at where this speech bubble on this page is coming from. Who does it tell us is talking when we read what is in this speech bubble? Does it tell us that the gingerbread man is talking? Is it coming from the gingerbread man? No. Does it come from me because I'm going to write in here? Or you because you might write in here? Is that who the speech is coming from? No, it's coming from the little old woman. Okay, so when we write in here, it's going to be something that the little old woman has said or maybe would say. Okay, and we can use our imagination to think of that from the story. We're going to be looking at that a little bit later on. And I've got one more to show you. I've got the fox. That's right. Now have a look. Where is the speech bubble coming from? Who is talking? That's right. It would be something that the fox has said, or something that the fox might say, because it is coming from the fox, and we can see that from the direction of this speech bubble. Okay? Now, when you read your reading books, you might notice that there is some speech in your reading, and it tells you that somebody else is talking, maybe in a different way to a speech bubble. Now, these are called speech marks, and I'll just show you quickly. These are called speech marks, and you might have seen these marks in a storybook that you've read, or in a reading book that you've read that's got someone talking in it. And these marks, these special marks, tell you that somebody is talking. And the bit that they are saying is in between these two marks. So if I just take this down for a second, just to show you a little bit better. If I was going to write, "Hello," said Miss Marsden, but I wasn't going to use a speech bubble, I was going to write it as if I was writing it in my writing book, it would look a little bit like this. Good watching, guys, well done. Big stretch towards the end. Okay, so this says, "Hello," said Miss Marsden. We'll stop. Okay, now if I was to say hello, hello, which bit of this is me talking? Is it hello? Is it said? Is it Miss Marsden? Which bit is me actually talking if I was to say hello? That's right, the word hello is me actually talking, and that's why we use the speech bubbles to show that I am talking, that I am speaking. Okay, and you might have seen this, like I said, in your reading book or in your library book. But when we use speech bubbles, we don't need to use speech marks, and this is because, for one, we already know that they're a speech bubble. Okay, we already know that somebody is talking, and we know that it is them talking because it is a speech bubble. Okay, and for two, you wouldn't necessarily find a speech bubble in the middle of a piece of writing. You might see it in a reading book as part of a picture to show that somebody is talking, but you wouldn't see it in the middle of a sentence. You wouldn't see "the cat went to the shop, full stop," and then a random speech bubble and then meow in the middle. Okay, that's because speech bubbles are mostly used when it comes to pictures or comics, or something when there's not a lot of writing, but you still want to show that somebody is speaking. Okay, now we are going to have a go today at writing some speech bubble pieces of speech for something that the gingerbread man, the little old woman, and the fox from the story would say. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit more about this now. Okay, so when we're writing our speech bubbles, pop this back up here for now, do we still need to remember everything we normally need to remember in writing? What about things like this? What do we call that? A big full stop. Do we still need to use full stops in our writing? Yes, we do. What about these little things that help us to remember. We have a word, we have a space, a finger space. Do we need to use those in speech bubbles? Yes, we do. We need to remember our finger spaces. And there's one more thing we need to remember at the start of a sentence. Sentences start with a capital letter. Well done. We are whizzes at these now. Absolute whizzes, year one. Full stops, finger spaces and capital letters are still really important when we're writing our speech bubbles, and they are definitely something that you need to remember. And we use a full stop to show the end of a sentence. But I want you to have a think. If I'm asking you something, if I say, or a bit like our Teams meeting, if I say, what did you have for breakfast? And I'm asking you something, it's like a sentence, but it's a different kind of sentence. And we need something else on the end of our sentence when we're asking something. You ever seen one of these before? Do you know what this is called? That's right, this is called a question mark. Okay, I say, you say it. Question mark. Question mark. Super. Now, when do we use a question mark, you might think? Sentences start with a capital letter. We use our word and our space, and we finish our sentence with a big full stop. So when do we use a question mark? Now, we can use a question mark instead of a full stop if we are asking a question. So if I say, what did you have for breakfast? That is a question I am asking you. Okay, I want to find out something about you. I want to find out what you have for breakfast. Okay, that's when I would use a question mark. Or I might say, like I did at the beginning of the video, how are you today? Now that is a question that I am asking you, and you need to say something back to me. Or when I said, who are the characters in the Gingerbread Man story? That needs answering, doesn't it? Because it's a question. I'm asking a question, you need to answer. Okay, a bit like if you think about it at school, when Mrs. Berman or myself would ask you something on the carpet, and you need to put your hand up and you need to tell us. Okay, that is a question, and that is where we would use a question mark. So we might use a question mark. Now, have you ever seen one of these before? Do you know what this is called? Now, this is called an exclamation mark, and we use one of these. Does anybody know when we use one of these? We use one of these when we are showing that somebody is shouting, or if somebody is excited. Okay. Now, in the story, the little old woman shouted something. She shouted, can you remember? She shouted him to the gingerbread man when the gingerbread man was running away. What did she say? Stop, stop. Now, because she's shouting, you can use an exclamation mark instead of a full stop. Now, I know this seems like a lot to remember, but I'm sure your families at home will help you with this when you're thinking of what your character might say. Okay, and I would like you to have a go at using a question mark or an exclamation mark if you need to in your writing. Now, what I want you to do is just a little activity now, is grab a pencil and a piece of paper if you haven't got one already, or you can even just do it, if you've got these printed off, you can do it on the back or around the side of these, I don't mind. I want you to have a go at showing me a question mark. Now watch how I do it. Okay, I'm going to have to hold my pen funny so you can see. A question mark. Okay, and an exclamation mark. Okay, so practice doing 10 question marks and 10 exclamation marks, just so you can practice forming them and seeing how they feel when you write them with your pencil. So you've got question mark, dot, and an exclamation mark. And quite a nice way of remembering these come at the end of sentences is because, just like a full stop, they have little full stops in them as well. So that's a nice little way of how you can remind yourself that these come at the end of a sentence. Okay, whether it's a question or you're exclaiming something, so you're shouting or you're excited. Okay, so pause the video here, guys. Have a go at doing 10 of each and then press play again when you are done. Well done, year one. Super job practicing your question marks and exclamation marks. Now we are going to have a look at the speech bubble and what we might say for these 3 characters. Okay, now I know it looks like a lot of lines. Don't worry, you're not expected to fill in all of the lines. You can think of just one sentence for each character and think of what they might say. Okay, so remember, you need to think about it first, then you need to say it out loud, say the words on your fingers, and then write it using the phonics that you know. Okay, you don't have to ask your adult for how to spell things. Okay, I want you to have a go and use your phonics that you know. Okay, because it's your writing and you can write really well using your phonics, so that is what I would like you to do today. Okay, so I'm going to have some thinking time now. What might the gingerbread man say? Now I'm thinking, oh, I know, when he jumps out the oven. What might he say when he jumps out the oven? He might say, yay. Okay, that's only one word though. Let's try and think of a sentence. What might he say? Oh, this is great. That's okay. I'm not sure if that's my actual sentence I want to write though. Oh, I know. What about yippee, I am free? Okay, yippee, I am free. Yeah, because he's free from the oven. Right, okay, I'm happy with that idea. Now, how would the gingerbread man actually say that sentence? Yippee, I am free. Would he go, yippee, I am free? No, probably not. He'll go, yippee, I am free. I've got my sentence. Okay, did you hear it? So I said, yippee, I am free. Now, how would he say that, do you think? Is he asking somebody a question? If I said to you guys, yippee, I am free, would you put your hand up and answer me? No, probably not. So it's not a question. Let me say it again. Listen to how I say it. Yippee, I am free. Does he sound like he's shouting or he's excited? What do you think? He does. Super. So we can use not a question mark, not a full stop, but an exclamation mark for that sentence. Yippee, I am free. Now I have said my sentence out loud. My next thing is to say it on my fingers. Ready? Yippee, I am free. Let's do it again. Yippee, I am free. Now remember guys, it's really important to say your sentence and do it on your fingers. Do it one more time. Yippee, I am free. Okay. Yippee, I am free. Now remember, we're going to use our phonics to sound this out today. Okay, you are going to use your phonics. So can you help me sound this out? Yippee, I am free. Okay, let's go. Yippee. What can you hear at the beginning? Yippee. Yeah, that's right. Sentences start with a capital letter. Thank you. Hip. Yippee. Okay. Yippee. Next word. Yippee. I. I'm going to use this line, guys, only because I'm using a really chunky whiteboard pen, which is not great for using on paper, but you can just write normally on your lines, that's fine. Yippee, I am free. I, tricky word, I. We know what that looks like? Can you remind me? Show me with your fingers in the air. How do we write I? Super. Thank you, guys. Yippee, I am, and we should know this from our tricky words. Am. Oh, hang on. I've got a word, so I need a space. Finger space, thank you. I am. Yippee, I am. Yippee, I am free. Now listen to the word free. Can you sound this out for me? Okay, let's sit together. F-R-E, free. F-R-E. Let's read the sentence together. Yippee, I am free. Finish my sentence with a... Can you remember what we use? Oh, are we using a full stop today? No, we're going to use an exclamation mark because the gingerbread man is excited and he's shouting. Okay? And like my full stop, my dot sits just on the line. Yippee, I am free. Well done, guys. Thank you for helping me write my speech bubble. Now, your task today, your job today, okay, is I would like you to write one sentence for each of the characters. One for the gingerbread man, one for the little old woman, and one for the fox. If you don't have these printed off, you can write it on a piece of paper and draw a speech bubble around it. That is fine. Remember, you don't need to use your speech marks because we know it is a speech bubble. I would like you to think of 3 different sentences, one for each character, something that you think they might say, okay? The gingerbread man didn't say, yippee, I am free in the story. But I am imagining that that is something that the gingerbread man would actually say and might actually say. And that's why I have used this idea. So I want you to think of your own ideas. Have a go at seeing if you can use an exclamation mark today, like I did in my writing, okay? To show that somebody is excited or they're shouting. And you might, if you're feeling brave or you're up to the challenge, ask a question. You might think of a question they might ask, like the gingerbread might say, why are you trying to eat me? And that would require somebody to put their hand up and go, because you're yummy. Okay? Remember how we use a question mark when we're asking something. Okay? Have a really good go, and then after you finish that, that's just 3 sentences, guys. I'm sure you will fly through this. Remember to use your own phonics, okay? The spellings do not need to be correct. Use your own phonics that you know. Have a really, really good go. Then, after you've finished, you can colour in your characters, okay? And colour them in. All right? Have a really, really lovely day. Enjoy being creative and imagining what these characters might say, and I can't wait to read them. Okay? Have fun, everybody, and see if you're up to the challenge of using an exclamation mark or a question mark in your writing. Have a lovely day. Bye.